What up? What up? What up? What up? Good people. Sorry if you hear me crunching ice in your ear. My bad. But as you can see, we are back. And hold on, man. We got to put our little advertisement up in the top corner. There you go. Sim Standard Podcast. We are back, guys. We've been gone for 3 weeks. I'm sorry. I'll take full responsibility for it. The first week, I had something to do. And then the second week, I started on this journey to where I am now, and I will explain that to you guys. So I'll hold that for my intro segment. As you can see, the background is different because I'm not at home. But we'll get into that, man. But it's been, seems like forever since we brought a show to you. So I was not going to go another night without doing something tonight, especially with all of the news that Smitty and myself both have been trying to get to. You had EA Play today. So you guys see it in the title. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to give our quick thoughts and impressions on whatever. I say that very sarcastically. Whatever was shown at EA Play. And you'll see what I mean. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals. We'll probably start off with that when I throw it to Smitty. That can be our off topic. We'll talk about Madden. You see it in the title, the new era. It's a lot to get into there in terms of what they're doing in the game. Not just that, but somebody that we know now is on the staff. And that is interesting. So we're going to talk about all of that, man, as far as what we think that means for the future of Madden and us fans or what have you. So before we go too far, let me throw it to Smitty, man. Smitty, you feel free to get into anything you want to get into, you know, outside of the normal topics. Tell the people how you've been over the last 3 weeks. I will do the same. I will explain the background that you guys are seeing behind me, and then we will dive right into the topic. So what's been going on, Smitty? I've talked to you, but obviously the good people here haven't heard from you in about 3 weeks.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, you know, everything's been going good. You know, been missing being able to break bread on here because I'm like, oh man, all these news, all these details, you know what I'm saying? All this good stuff has been coming out. But I mean, no, man, like, you know, glad to be able to get back on and rock with you guys. And yeah, man, I mean, look, NBA stuff, gaming stuff, Madden stuff, like just great stuff with Madden that has came down the pipeline. So I mean, like a lot of good stuff to get into and excited for, you know what I'm saying? And then EA Play, you know, they did their thing, and man, the way they did it, that was a nice order that they did it in. They unveiled a few things, and then they really dropped the bomb toward the end. That was it. That Battlefield, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you got to see about that, Sim, but that Battlefield I mean, it was already official, but I mean, it is official.
Why they
After
do
what
that?
they unveiled, you know what I'm saying?
Why did they? Just real quick, I don't even want to cut in on Smitty, but I got to comment on this real fast. Why did they do that, bro? Can y'all imagine? Think about how some of us are even able to get a better experience when we download people's rosters in Madden and 2K and all this other stuff. Can you imagine the type of combination some of these nutty people in the community are going to come up with? This is, Smitty, this is where I step back and I let dudes like Jack Frags and Westy and all these other folks, right? I let them do their thing when it comes to that. That's going to be very, very interesting. So, yeah, I had to say that. Y'all know I'm a stand for Battlefield, but I'll rest my case right there. I'll end it right there. But go ahead, Smitty, man. I didn't mean to jump in there.
All right, sorry about that. I had to tell
no problem. Yeah,
quick.
I was about to jump in. No problem.
Yeah. No, I mean, and yet, look, seeing the news from Westy, seeing all the news from it, just information, dude. They did this right, and I mean, talking on the Battlefield tip real quick is, I mean, it's okay. I'll just say my piece on this. People were concerned about a single player not being there. After all this, you see exactly why they ain't do that. See, Just think of this point here. See, this is what happens when you take those resources and you distribute them elsewhere the right way. This is exactly what you do. We ain't got no single player mode. Sweet. No single player campaign. Excuse me. Sweet. No detailed storyline to talk about. None of that stuff. So all those resources, you pour that into building these modes and things like that. You make sure that you make your online gameplay experience, you make that sucker count. And that's literally what they did with that Battlefield. So huge props to them for that. That's the kind of stuff that we have to see in gaming. I'm not saying that to be like, oh, see, that's what you do with Madden. That's what you do, period. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to switch stuff up, make sure those resources are allocated accordingly. And it shows like you don't have this, but look what we did over here because we don't have that. And it's like you're saying it without necessarily saying it. They ain't saying nothing about a campaign at all, but yet look at all the stuff they've given us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love it. And I mean, shoot, we got NFL season getting ready to get started.
Yeah. What a surprise move by the Steelers.
Yeah.
Melvin Ingram. I'm telling you, I didn't see that coming. For you guys that don't know, the Steelers don't normally go after plus 30 defenders. They don't do it. Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not really looking too hard at the Lions right now until we start playing. At this point, all I'm waiting for at this juncture, I'm waiting for Cade to be a Piston. You know what I'm saying? NBA draft is next week. Big ups to the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want me to talk about that yet. I'll wait.
Oh, no. Go jump right
go
in.
ahead and talk to okay, all right. But I mean, the Bucks, huge either way, either team, I wouldn't have felt bad either way. But for Giannis and the Bucks to get it, I'm very happy for them to get it.
He stepped up, man.
Yeah. Oh, he stepped way the heck up.
He did. I got to tip my hat to him. He showed up.
He closed out. Like he made sure that him throwing down that oop in game 5 and his expression, that to me was like the statement play. Just like how Tayshaun did that chase down block in 2004 against Reggie Miller. Like that was like a pivotal play, not just for that series, but as far as going forward. And even some of the players were even saying that like that player was like a statement play that really was like, yo, we got to get this. Because see him go like that, like we got to get it. And to see Giannis like that facial expression said a ton. You know what I'm saying? And it was just that the way he played, we ain't coming back to Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't coming back to Phoenix to play anymore. I'm done. So they closed it out, man. And I mean, yo, Giannis, good guy, good player. He is the traditional kind of player that you want to play with. And I will say him and even Dame. I'll say Dame Lillard too, because even though he's saying now he wants to leave, he's tried. So I'm not going to say like he ain't tried to stick around and really try to hang around and get it with the Blazers. So to see him basically requesting a trade now, it's just like with KG. He hung around the T-Wolves for a long time, and they never got it done.
It ain't just like no KD.
No, I say KG.
Oh, okay.
KG, Garnett. No, Garnett.
You know I always got to pick with Durant.
Yeah, no.
I still love Durant, but I'm always going to pick fun at him for that one.
But I mean, Giannis getting that ring, it's gonna be it's gonna hold more weight in comparison to like how KD got his ring, like how LeBron got his rings. You know what I'm saying? Because you got all them final trips and only a handful of rings. Because it's like, yeah, a lot of your teams were bought. They weren't truly built. Like he didn't go through the adversity. If Giannis never gets another ring, this is like a cementing championship for him. So it's like if he gets the second one with this team, with this franchise, that would be amazing. I mean, he's only 26. So it's not like it's too late for him to still get another ring. And the way this NBA is played, he could definitely get another one. So it's very possible. It just really depends on opportunity and want to see dudes at full strength. You know what I mean? I mean, more than likely, it's going to be much harder for him to get a chip next year because, well, depending upon injuries. I mean, injuries happen. We get that. That all plays a role as to why things went the way they went. I get that, but with more than likely we're going to see the Nets come out the East. I mean, if those guys are healthy and the team is clicking, yeah, they'll be coming out the East without question. So we'll just have to wait and see what ends up happening. Here, go ahead, buddy. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Go out there and watch it. All right. So we'll just have to see what happens. But I'm happy to see these dudes get it. Glad to see Giannis get that ring. As far as anything else, that's all I really got, man. Just went and talk about this Madden stuff, man. But I'll throw it to you.
A lot to talk about, man. So I will jump right into explaining to you guys, where we've been. Let me get that part out the way. And well, you know what? Let me just comment on the finals, and then I'll go into that. So yeah, I'm happy for Giannis. He is a good dude, man. I mean, if you guys hadn't seen the clip, if y'all have seen the clip where, they asked him about kind of, how he's taking everything in, and he basically was saying how you got to live in the moment. He's just a good dude. He's been nothing but that since he's been in the league. So you always root for those type of guys. I will say that just like some people are saying, this was the best time for the Bucks to get a chip, being that the Nets weren't healthy. And, even if you want to throw my squad in there saying that, Philly just didn't have enough firepower, this was probably the best chance for the Bucks to get, to the finals. Same could be said and what I was saying about Chris Paul and the Suns. Everything was laid out for them. Yeah, they were a great team throughout the year, but come on, man. Some people feel like if the Lakers were healthy, they may not have gotten past the Lakers. And I will say this, seeing as how Giannis was able to dominate the paint, you wonder if AD would have done that, even though sometimes I question AD, his willingness to go down in the paint. So can't really compare that. But some people feel like they wouldn't have gotten past the Lakers, right? Kawhi doesn't get hurt. A lot of people feel like the Clippers are going to come out of the West. Jamal Murray and guys like that don't go down, then you got to look at Denver. And even teams like Dallas, even though Dallas didn't necessarily show up, but they battled in that series against the Clippers. So it's one of those things where this was the time for the Suns to win and get a chip. And it may very well be Chris Paul's last opportunity. I know they're talking about free agency and they're already talking about, the reports are that LeBron and company are, looking to bring him to the Lakers. And, that could very well be possible. They're friends. Remember back in the day, they all talked about an opportunity before they all retired, they would like to play together. Well, he's played with Wade. It's not impossible to think that. So maybe if Paul goes there, he might have a chance. But, if you're looking at it at the surface, this may have been Paul's last chance, man, to get a ring. So I kind of wanted to see him get one because I don't want him to be. This is just me personally. It doesn't really matter that much because again, two of my favorite players of all time don't have rings. I've told you guys that. Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson. They're two of my favorite players for a lot of different reasons. They don't have rings, but to me, they're still great. They're still Hall of Famers, right? But it does suck when that superstar guy doesn't have a ring. So I was hoping that wouldn't happen to Chris Paul because Chris Paul has been, a great player throughout his career. And like Smitty said, Giannis and the boys are still relatively young. You know, they still got time. So if they hadn't won, you know, I would have felt like, okay, well, they're going to be in the mix the next few years. So like Smitty said, you know, I wasn't disappointed with who won and who didn't win, but I definitely did want to see Chris Paul get a ring, but it is what it is. But other than that, man, let me explain to you guys what you're seeing here. And part of the reason why is my fault that we haven't been able to do a show for a couple of weeks. The first week, you know, I had something to do. You know, unfortunately, you guys know life happens. The second week, you know, my wife and I and my young son, we traveled down to Tampa, Florida, where we're visiting my wife's father, my father-in-law, and his, father lives in Florida with his wife, and you know, my wife has a younger brother, a younger sister, you know, whole different family. Came down to spend some time with them, and we will be here until next Thursday. So being down here and, you know, kind of having things to do, and the next week after that, I didn't want to be away, you know, be like a bad guest, if you will. And so I couldn't do the show that week. And then last week, me and Smitty had got ready to do it. And then we had some complications on both of each other's on our sides and couldn't do it. So there you go. That's mainly the reason why you guys are just seeing us now. But, you know, I said whatever it took, I was going to get it done tonight. And that's why you're seeing, you know, a different background. This is my father-in-law's den, as you can see, you know, Giants paraphernalia back there. You know, he's originally from the Bronx, so huge Giant fan, huge Yankee fan. So that's why you're not seeing the normal background, okay? Because I'm not in Pennsylvania. I am in super hot Tampa, Florida. But speaking of which, and hopefully Smitty is listening to this as well, just dawned on me that we actually will be traveling again next Thursday. So next Thursday we'll start our route to go back home. So more than likely we won't be able to do a show next week. I had thought about maybe possibly trying to do it while driving, and it could work. You know, obviously I wouldn't be on camera, so we'll see. I won't rule it out, but we'll just go with the notion that it won't happen. So we'll give you guys that in advance. But other than that, man, I'm ready to talk about all of this stuff that we need to talk about. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I guess, but yeah, go ahead. What you think?
Oh no, I was saying no. It's a lot to unpack. So I mean, it's what it's whatever as far as where you want to start at. Like,
let's see. Y'all always know Madden dominates the headline, man. So
yeah,
let's get EA Play out the way really quick.
Okay.
I briefly watched it. You know, I was busy today, so I couldn't really watch it live. I kind of watched the replay a little bit. And I will attack it on this side of things, and then I'll let, you know, Smitty take it from another angle. It's always funny when you see the disdain or hate that people have for organization. It's weird, man. It's like I saw so many people saying that EA Play was trash and they didn't show nothing. And I'm like, I wonder sometimes what people are expecting. Okay, first of all, this wasn't a showcase of, it wasn't the Sony showcase. It wasn't Microsoft showcase. It was EA Play, meaning it was only going to be games that EA is affiliated with. So how much more were you expecting to see? And like Smitty said, they hit you with a nice surprise at the end. You know, maybe some people are into that, maybe some are not. But what were you really expecting to see in terms of games? Where I would give it a little bit of critique, and maybe I missed it, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I was trying to work and skim through it. I may have missed these segments that I think didn't happen. So if they happen, y'all let me know. But I didn't really see a focus on a FIFA or Madden or what have you, like you would normally, you know, what you're normally accustomed to at an EA Play or a E3 when they were there. I didn't really see that, and honestly, I didn't expect it, because they've kind of already revealed stuff. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about FIFA. I'm sure we're going to get into the Hypermotion at some point tonight, but they've already revealed a lot of those things, right? We already know everything about Madden. They did reveal on the scouting stuff. We're going to get into that. So I wasn't expecting any type of, you know, like dedicated focus on those particular games. tonight. I mean, I wasn't expecting that today. So again, I don't know what people were expecting. I thought, you know, for what it's worth, what they showed was good. The way they delivered it, I thought was good. Again, when it's virtual, it's not with so much you're gonna get, you know, when it's a virtual situation. So I don't know. I didn't have any issues with it. Somebody said that was before the show. See, I didn't even I missed all of that. So I don't know. And again, Smitty will be able to expound on it. I don't know what they showed in detail in reference to a FIFA or a Madden. If they showed it before the show, I probably missed it as I was skimming through. Because if I'm not mistaken, if you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think the video was a total of like, I could probably pull it up here. It was like an hour and 30 minutes or something. And I know like the first 20 of that was just the intro. And I probably missed that part. But either way, I wasn't disappointed by what they showed. Was thoroughly impressed and, you know, excited about what they showed from Battlefield. Again, that's me always saying that is the only game that I'm probably the most biased for and openly admit it is Battlefield, but it always delivers. So I think what they're doing around being able to create all of these different custom experiences using multiple games and allowing the community to do it and allowing us to be able to share that's going to be interesting. And to me, I know some people are upset because they don't have a BR, you know, a battle royale, but I'm like, who cares? Honestly, like why do we want everything to be the same? Like, think about it. It's been that ever since Fortnite hit the scene. Everybody why can't I applaud them for going in a different direction and giving you a different experience? So, but like I said, that's all I got on it, man. That's all I got on it. I think it was a fairly good show. You know, it didn't underwhelm to me, but again, you know, some people were looking for different things. But since Smitty probably was able to, you know, read into it a little more than I was, what was your thoughts, Smitty, as far as the overall show? What was the highlights? You know, what excited you the most, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, I mean, the big thing to me, they only showcased a few games. It wasn't like they showed a ton. The thing is that no, shh, quiet. The thing is they only shown like what they did with Battlefield is not the stat quo thing, like you said. They have what is it called, the portal, which is
Battlefield portal or something.
Amazing. Okay, absolutely amazing what they're doing with that. So I'm not, you know, upset with any of that. Like, oh, but they ain't do a battle royale, and they said it in the article too. Like, with all the customization options that you have, from weapon conditions, what kind of stances you can do, all that stuff, they gave you all of that, what you can and cannot do, and they're like, no, you can't create a battle royale, so you can't set a battle royale condition. So it's like, sweet. And that's the thing with everything that you're able to do in the game. That's what's up. Like, you want to be different. You know what I'm saying? And now as far as the sports stuff, they did like a pre-show. So that's what my man was talking about before the show. It was like a small recap of what they did on the 20th, I think that was, when they talked on FIFA. So it was a small recap. I watched the FIFA stream, and I mean, it's like they basically they didn't go into mode detail, but they did. It was basically talking about gameplay and how the Hypermotion tech was going to impact gameplay in terms of various areas of the game, as well as other refinements they made in regards of just core gameplay, like ball physics, AI, how the defensive patterns are going to operate, how players move, the way they animate due to the Hypermotion tech, how they were able to capture it, stuff like that. So they did that. But yeah, and that's the thing. People were looking for the EA Sports thing, like, oh man, what was the big secret? What was the big secret? And I'm like, well, they had the game Grid Legends. Technically, racing is sports. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I mean, I know some people were looking, and yes, is it an existing franchise? Yes, and that's what EA said. They said we have some new announcement for an existing franchise. So that was it with Grid. I know some people are disappointed with that. Oh man, you kidding me? Man, how come it ain't like no? People were looking for NBA Live, or they were looking for a game of old to return, and it's like no, they said a currently existing franchise. So that could have been NBA Live, possibly. You know what I mean? Like that could have been fight. That could have been a fight night, possibly. That could have been. You know what I mean? Like it has to be a game that has a franchise that currently exists, not something that's just not being made at all whatsoever.
Right.
And that's it. So, and I mean, I know Live is a joke and everything. I mean, I even tweeted about it. Like, look, if you don't see anything out here from EA's official accounts saying it, let it go. Quit saying, oh, I'm disappointed. EA ain't saying nothing about Live. Y'all, the team been disbanded, man. You know what I'm saying? That dream is pretty much gone. I feel that Scott OG, when he announces something, it's gonna be for NCAA. You know what I'm saying? That's just my feeling right now. If Live does make a return at some point, cool, but you know how business works, they could say, oh, we're looking at ways to invest and utilize our partnership and all that stuff. They could say all that stuff and then turn around and say it's a wrap. We decided to part ways with the NBA after all these years, and now we decided to that can mess around and be the case too. So, but see, the thing is, instead of sitting up here speculating and trying to guesstimate what eventually is going to happen, only to disappoint yourself, just let it go, and we'll just see what happens when the time comes. If it happens, sweet. If it doesn't, bet. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? So, but I will say this. We'll touch on FIFA stuff and everything. Especially after watching that FIFA presentation, if NBA Live is going to make a return, if the Hypermotion technology is not being leveraged, I don't even want to hear nothing about it no more.
Remember the demo?
I don't. What?
Remember where we first saw the demo, folks, and we showed it to y'all here.
Oh, yeah, yep.
That was a basketball game.
Yep. So if they don't bring it back using that, I don't even want to hear nothing about it. I don't even want to hear it. It better have Hypermotion all over that. I don't care. So it's as simple as that. But I mean, the show was cool. The show was cool for what it's worth. And like Sim said, it's an EA show. It's not an E3. So you're not going to get everybody and their mama 50, 30, 40, 50 games being talked about and being, unveiled and everything. It's not going to go that way. It's going to be, they're going to keep it real simple. Showcase a few games, do a few interviews, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I mean, and that's the other thing too. While people were complaining about the sport, or I was going to say, well, some people complain, but the issue with the sports gaming thing, I'm like, bro, like they were looking for more at EA from EA Play. I'm like, wait a minute. So let's look at this. FIFA did their own breakdown. Madden, they just uploaded another podcast today. They have like 3 or 4 podcasts on Spotify, along with the deep dive videos, along with the blogs breaking everything down. Like, what else you need? You know what I'm saying? Like, they are giving you all the information, all the deets. So if you're like, oh man, but they need to show more. And so then what you gonna say then when you look at that gameplay? Oh man, I need to play it. Okay, so like you might as well just wait for a month and so basically about a month, less than a month from now, and then go ahead and play it. But otherwise, they've shown you and talked about what needs to be talked about, and they expanded on a lot of details in those podcasts. So I strongly jump on Spotify. I think it's on iTunes as well, But yeah, they had all the links and stuff on their Twitter page. So like definitely listen to those podcasts. So that way you can actually listen to what they're talking about and get a real good understanding of what they're actually doing with it. And they're giving you meat and potatoes detail to a good extent. Like it's a healthy amount of information they're giving you. So I like it. Like I can appreciate that. That's the energy I want to see going forward. I want to see that happening with Madden. I want to see that happening with FIFA, NHL, like all that. Give us that kind of stuff. So then that way, whether we're into it, whether you're new to the game or you're a veteran of it, you got all that information at your disposal to get a real full understanding of what's going on. Oh, one other thing while I'm thinking about it, Sim, just a sidebar. Pez, what those guys are doing,
yeah,
that right there, that's what we need to see happening. Somebody said rumor-wise today that FIFA 23 is going free to play as well. Now I don't know if that's true because EA didn't say it, so we'll have to wait and see.
Now help me out with this, Smitty, because you're more familiar with it than me. Where do they make their money? Like, and what I'm asking is for those of you guys that might say, well, you should know how. I understand how like a Roblox, like my kid plays, or Fight Night. I know how they make theirs, but Pez. So with that being a free to play, because I mean, I'm assuming they don't have. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming they don't have all of this grand. They don't have an ultimate team, right?
Yeah, they do.
They do. Okay, so
my club
is that their idea team, where they are banking on that, like the Fortnites and the Apexes and those type of games, or like what other advantage would they have for it to just be free to play?
Well, they didn't put out every detail, and I didn't read into every single thing, but on the front end, they did say, I mean, the My Club stuff definitely will be part of it.
Yeah.
So there's that. But they also said their Master League, which is their franchise mode, is going to be DLC that you buy. So that's kind of segmenting the game within the game. Because if you want to play the game for the Ultimate Team stuff, then you just play the My Club stuff. Or I don't know if it's just going to come as part of it and then you just play, or it's something you got to buy. But I mean, of course, you buy your packs and bundles or whatever, or I'm pretty sure you could grind and earn stuff, I would assume. But yeah, you have that, and then you also have their franchise mode thing you got to pay for.
Gotcha.
So
their franchise mode.
Yeah. The Master League is what they call it, but that's the franchise mode. So you got it. So that's going to be paid DLC. So
okay, because see, I didn't, honestly admitting, I didn't read the details. I just kind of saw the headline. So they're free to play. So that's kind of base level. And then if I want like a franchise, let's use a game I'm familiar with.
Right.
It'd be like if 2K Play Now is free. Play with all the teams.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to do my league, then it would be a paid DLC.
Pay for that. Yeah. If you want that part. So like just think about it. Think about it like you got my league, you got my GM, you got my team, all as separate entities. Now, if you wanted to pay my team, I'm pretty sure that probably would be attached to the game. But if you wanted to buy my GM, here's the DLC. Yeah, you can get the DLC and do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Pez, as we know, what they would usually do is when they had their team packs and stuff like that, those were DLCs you buy. Oh, we got this league in this division or whatever. You could add that to the game, and it's like you buy that stuff. So if they're making it free, I'm pretty sure that stuff will still be things you can buy. along with accessories, like they have certain jerseys or something like that that are a certain edition. If you want to buy those, they may make those something you can purchase. And then you got the My Club stuff, and then you got the Master League, you know, if you want to buy that too. So yeah.
Wow, that's
So
interesting.
but I wanted to just bring that up because to see them do that, it's like, you know, being the catalyst for it, because you have a major, you know, sport gaming franchise going the free to play route on the console and PC tip, and they have a straight up roadmap where it's going to lead where you're going to be able to have mobile players go up against console and PC players. You know what I'm saying? Which is nuts. So I look forward to that being shown off to see how that's supposed to work. But I just like that. I was just kind of shocked at the premise that, oh snap, like they're actually doing it. You know what I'm saying, with the game. And I mean, it's not a bad move considering how much money FIFA gets in comparison to them, because they have the major licensing for, you know, FIFA. So that's interesting to see happen with them. And I just want to see, will we see other franchises do the same thing? Along with, that's why when I first saw the trailer for it, I automatically was thinking about live. Like if EA were to come back, this would be the route to go. If they were to come back, that's not gonna hurt you none. Like you make it free to play. People could pay for the accessories, pay for the J's, pay for those shoes, whatever. And then you have the game, see what happens with PES and see how other games may follow suit, and you structure it accordingly, and then people will buy stuff. Like you can buy season or franchise stuff or whatever, like whatever it is that you have that people feel is worth it, and yeah, they'll pay for it. They'll pay for it. So I mean, you see how much money people pay in 2K and Madden already as is. They pay train loads of money. So making the game free ain't gonna hurt nothing at all at the end of the day. So if anything, it brings more people to your platform. So
yeah, man, I thought that was very interesting. And we'll see, you know, because you know, you've heard these rumblings in the gaming community for a while. You know, some games going subscription based, and here's one game that jumps out there. So if it works, and it does make you wonder, a company like EA and the way they, you know, appreciate their money, if you will. It does make you wonder if they feel like that route is beneficial for them with their games. We'll see. You know, we'll see. I don't know if maybe EA Play was, you know, the subscription was kind of a way for them to gauge, you know, how people would do with something like that. So it'll be interesting to see if any other games follow suit. But speaking of live, man, if it did come back, like you said, that would be a good model. But then also, it would have to have that Hypermotion, man. Like, as much as y'all know what we talk about, and we'll get to Madden in a second, but as much as we talk about player movement and interaction, that right there, man, that is the technology. Like it's funny how when we a couple months ago we showed that demo that we said EA was working and it was a basketball game and it's, you know, it's on the fly interactions and predictive movement and all that stuff. Remember we talked about that's, to me, that's what Hypermotion is.
Yeah.
So EA is using it now. Why I went to FIFA first is always it's a question, only because we know that they showed it being worked on with a basketball game. So I look at that a little differently. Like I look at it like and it's twofold to me, right? You might say, well, that means there is no live, yada yada yada, and they had to use FIFA. Well, in a way, that's a good thing, because if that's the case, that means that that system is able to be plugged into another game,
right,
without having to say, whoa, we don't know how it's going to work over here. So to me, that's a win. We don't know this to be true, but I'm saying that if we're using an educated guess, the demo that college or whoever they were working with, Oxford, something those folks, along with EA, if they were working together, producing this technology, and they demoed it on a basketball game, logically you would think, oh, okay, they must have had this in mind for live. Live is no more, at least at this point. And to see that they're calling it Hypermotion and it's in another game, that again makes me feel like it's easy to take it from here and dump it there. And if that is the case, one would hope or expect Madden will get it at some point. I don't know when,
I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it to be there next year, but I mean, you know, it just really depends because I mean, like I said, Sim, I don't know if you saw. Did you get to see the video at all from FIFA?
Nah, I just pulled it up. I'm actually gonna watch it tonight.
All right. So, like when they did the mocap, and that's the thing. They showcase. See that the cool thing about it was they showcased in the studio. They said basically what we would do is when we usually would mocap stuff for the game, we were only able to have 2 or 3 guys doing a certain segment, a certain situation, or a certain move, or a certain scenario play out, and that's all we could capture. And it was in a more contained instance. With this technology now, they literally got 11 on 11 and was like, and they had them all put on the suits with the markers on and everything. And it was like they were in a stadium and they had the cameras and everything rigged up top up in the Raptors so they could capture everything happening on the field. And it was just like, all right, look, everything you guys do is going to be in the game. And so y'all go ahead, y'all do it.
Smitty just said something and I had a delayed reaction. Smitty, do you remember, and this is how far back me and Smitty go, and Azure and others in the community. Do you remember how long ago when we all said, man, wouldn't it be crazy if we were talking about football at the time? Why can't they just play 11 on 11 and record that? Remember we used to say that? And we never thought or we never knew if that was possible.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep. So
wow.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that process of what we said back then, because we did say that a long time ago.
Wow.
But yeah, because at that point we were used to mocap being, extremely limited instance, one-on-one interaction kind of deal, not really just straight up play. So, but no. He was just like, whatever y'all do on the field is going to be in the game. So just go all out. And they were saying like they nearly had a fight breakout, saying like playing the game because they was getting into it like that. Like they were going hard. And they were talking about instances that were happening during the course of the game that there's no way they'd be able to replicate that in the studio. Like, guys playing defense and then they're tripping and stumbling over each other trying to fight for position for the ball, and they're like, yeah, we couldn't, like, we saw a guy fall over in a unique way trying to make a play, and we're like, yeah, we wouldn't be able to capture that in the studio and say, okay guys, now fall over each other. Like it wouldn't even look right because it's inorganic. And that was like a key thing. Everything is organically playing out. It makes, and that's the whole thing. The other thing too, guys calling out stuff happening on the field, seeing things happen, calling out signals, saying this, saying that, all that stuff. And I'm just automatically thinking, bruh, if they do this for Madden, they could call, like, let dudes be playing. Like they playing. Calling stuff out, calling this out, middle linebacker calling out stuff and everything like that. Quarterback calling out things and all that. You got the wide receivers doing their thing and all. And that's the whole thing. Everybody is accounted for in terms of what they're doing. And that's literally what's going on here. They're talking about jump ball situations now. I can't
wait to watch the video, man.
It's not, even though that's the wild part about it. In FIFA, those corner jump, like those corner kicks where you jump ball and everything and head it and everything, it looks all organic, but they're like, no, we got that separation now. because of the way the tech, everything is separated. So what this guy does is separate from that guy. It's like there is a level of awareness of what's going on around them now. And I'm like, see, the thing is, see what I like about this is that, or hearing that, is like, now what if you could do that kind of stuff with Madden and you can make players be aware of what's going on around them for real, with all the data and all the calculating and everything. And then they also shown how animations are much smoother, how transitions and everything is going to look like truly realistic. Player movement is going to be like basically 1-to-1 because these guys were captured. I'm saying, like, they were captured for real. So they're like, the running styles of these guys, the motions, all of that stuff is them, because it's like they got on the suits, it's them. You know what I mean? So they don't have to fake it. They don't have to finagle it. They don't have to do any of that. It's just them, and they got it. They got the data. And it's mind-blowing. That's why after I saw that, and the other thing, Sim, they mentioned this. This is a game mechanic they have. They have a speed burst in there. And now it even though it may sound cheesy, it's not a cheesy thing. It's like, you know, when you watch, if you watch soccer, if you ever watch a soccer match at all, and you see where the ball handler is dribbling and he's got a defender there in front of him, or he's near him or whatever, and you see him run a little bit, and then you all of a sudden see him kick it into an extra gear for a moment.
Yeah,
they got that in there. So now the thing is, you can't do it infinite. It's more like you can only do it once every so often. So that way it's not cheesy. But the way it looked in the stream, it doesn't look cheesy at all. It's like they got their running stride, but it's like they dig more into the stride to push. You know what I'm saying, to get that extra push off. So, and it goes for both players. It's you could do it on offense and defense. So if it's like if the defender bites or doesn't bite, and you pull that move, you can mess around and really take off on him, and then get around him or get around them, whatever move it is you're trying to do. So, and same
will be getting FIFA this year.
So it's like when you see the video, you'll really be able to tell, because they shown various examples of in-game stuff, like how it all looks and everything. I didn't get a chance to look at their blog on the EA website, so I don't know. They may have the examples there as well, but from the stream though, yeah, it was really good stuff, man. I'm very happy about it. Like like I said, I definitely will be getting FIFA as well, because what they did, that's insane. And plus, I gotta feel on the sticks what this Hypermotion tech, like how it looks, how it plays, and everything like that. So, but I will definitely say, like, I mean, Sim and I, between me, Sim, and AZ, like, I've already let Sim know offline. I'm like, yo, like when I was watching the stream, I was telling him, like, yo, yeah, they need to have this needs to be in Madden, like, immediately. Because I would love to be able to see these dudes come up. Wouldn't it be nuts to see these guys do their streams and all that stuff next year and be like, yeah, we called in 11 on 11 and we just had these dudes play. Just straight play football. They're like, no, what y'all gonna do? We captured a few games. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a few games of data and these dudes are playing. Like, they're playing. So, yeah, you got to get some dudes that are willing to go out like that, because I mean, you talking about football. So, but still, if you're able to truly get that, capture football in that essence, that's nuts. And see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about when I think of Madden, especially like when that puts the emphasis on, if they come back with live, it has to be that tech. We gonna get these five. Y'all play ball. We filming everything. We're gonna be here for a while, and that's it. You just film basketball, film these dudes playing. What y'all doing out here is going to be in the game. And then, because the way the technology works, when you want to say, all right, I want to put in Dame Lillard's jump shot, I want to put in Carmelo Anthony's jumper, I want to put in Zach LaVine's dunk package or whatever, all you're doing is dropping the animations in there, and the system works everything else out. So you don't have to, all right, let's simulate Dame Lillard taking a contact dunk, Dame Lillard taking a contact shot. You don't have to do any of that. You put the animation in, and this goes back to when we shown the video of how the tech works on here. The system is going to account for all of that. So all you got to do is put it in there. So just think if you get some general basketball movements, dribbles, handles, all of that good stuff, and with them playing a game, and then you just say, oh, we got this contact layup moment. All right, bet. Drop in Dame Lillard's animation. Now it's not going to be a two-man animation, but it's going to be Dame Lillard. You see what I'm saying? It'll still be Dame's thing. It's just going to be an organic situation involving his layup or dunk attempt or whatever. So that's why it creates infinite possibilities. Because I mean, look, there's no way that the FIFA dev team were able to use this Hypermotion tech and capture every single marquee, you know what I'm saying, FIFA soccer team that's in this game and all these main leagues, and excuse me, and get them capped to be put in the game. So there's a little bit of finagling that the system is going to do, but that's the beautiful thing about it. You drop in the animations, the system or the algorithm or whatever they said from all the data that it got is what's going to formulate everything else. That's pretty tight. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me. So I'm really excited for FIFA, and playing that will definitely get me excited for what can be done with Madden for sure. So I'll throw it to Sim.
I was just about to type to somebody.
Go ahead.
I'll just say it out loud, but let me also say thank you to both King Arthur and Ray. I'll just throw it up there to acknowledge you guys. Appreciate the donation. That was his comment. I'll read both of them. We'll get into this, I'm sure, when we talk about Madden. But Ray says, attributes, pluses, and the minuses based on momentum, home field advantage, game plan, coach select is mind-blowing, many layers. So he's basically talking about things coming to franchise. And then King Arthur also keeping up that theme. He says, Sim, the draft should be integrated with the scenario engine. For example, you drafting a specific position could cause trouble in the locker room. I do agree with that. And just really quick to chime in on that, I think what they're actually building, if you just listen to what they're trying to connect, is definitely opening up an opportunity for that stuff. I wouldn't expect that this year. Honestly, I wouldn't expect much changed as far as the draft and presentation and all of that, because I think they would have told us. And also for those of us who played the beta, I didn't see any difference there. You know, I've simulated a couple seasons, and I didn't see any real difference in the draft. However, I do know this. Well, we'll get into it, but I do know the scouting we now know will have will definitely affect the draft.
Right. Yeah.
But what I was going to say really quick too, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Let's just say Jeep Canedo. No, I'm not from York, Pennsylvania. I just lived there. I've been there for over 10 years, so that's where I reside. Me and my wife and my son. But no, I'm not from there. I'm originally from Virginia. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, is where I was born and raised. So there you go. And I'm in Tampa right now, visiting family. So that's why what you guys see in the background is not my background. It's my father-in-law. It was born and raised in the Bronx, and that's why you see the Carson jersey there. You see the Giants footballs, and he's got Yankee balls over here to the right. And I'm looking at Babe Ruth right here in front of me, but there you have it. Man, Hypermotion. Yes. It has got to come to Madden. And I'll just say that. I'm not gonna go down that road of if they don't do this, then me and Smitty know how that stuff works. I mean, we still have to understand it's a decision that has to be made from up above, and but from a gaming standpoint, and if whatever y'all want to call us now, as far as any affiliation we have with EA, speaking with that hat on, this has to happen. Y'all hear us talk about player motion and movement and AI and interact. Dog, those are the three pillars. That right there. And speaking of Madden, they already using the RFID technology, with the things that's in their shoulder pads, and they're using that for the next gen. I mean, it seems like it's a no-brainer. So like I said, our only hope is, in my opinion, is since we saw the technology demoed in a basketball setting and it's not in live, we see it in FIFA. It seems like this would be something that could be universal and they could just, boom, throw it in Madden, maybe throw it in NHL, whatever they want to do. We'll see. But I am definitely excited by that, man. I look forward to just being able to play that game. And I know Smitty's going to do it. I know he's going to stream. I'm sure we'll be showing player movement and interaction clips like, yo, did you see that? I can't wait. Oh, shout outs to Reborg 80. He says he from Newport News. You from Bad News. You know what they call it out there. That's what's up, man. But let's get on to this Madden. I'm gonna kick it off, Smitty, because it's so many things I want to talk about. So we'll kind of attack it from different angles, and doing that, I guess we will talk about everything. First of all, the reason why I titled this thing saying a new era of Madden is for a couple reasons. Number one, what did we say before this game was revealed? What have we been saying? I've said it. Smitty has said it. We needed to see a fundamental change in the structure of corporate EA, meaning the suits, as we refer to. We needed to see real change from there. And until we saw fundamental changes, whether it be depth in franchise or gameplay attempts, until we saw that, we didn't believe that the game would ever go in a different direction. I don't think we can say that anymore for Madden 22, Smitty, in chat. I mean, again, I've made 2 videos already kind of mentioning the same point, but I'll do it here. I don't recall a Madden cycle, and Smitty will keep me honest on this because y'all know Smitty is a historian. He remembers. I don't recall a Madden cycle, definitely not in the last 2 generations, that has done all of these things in one cycle.
Nope.
I don't recall it.
Not like this.
Not like this. We ain't see. And I'm like, okay, did they do everything that each and every one of us want? Maybe not. I'm sure they didn't. But I'm sorry. I'm not on that train of, man, they still ain't do nothing. What? How? Now, do you have the right to feel that way because it's been a long time coming? Absolutely. Do some people hate recycle features? Absolutely. But we always talk about stuff that needs to come back. So when it starts to come back, I'm not going to be mad that they're coming back. I'm not going to wave pom-poms either. I'm just saying this community cracks me up sometimes, man, because we all started this to try to bring, let's think about why we really started it. We started this to get Madden back to what it used to be. Bring it back to the glory days. That being gameplay and that being franchise mode and depth. So when they finally start to do some of this stuff, I am going to acknowledge it and hope it continues. What we can't do is we can't take our foot off the gas. Fixed Madden franchise always needs to be a trump card that we keep in our pocket. Like, oh, y'all right. Playing? Don't let me throw that big joker down on you. We still got it.
Right.
But come on, guys, like they ain't do nothing. Dog.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what you.
I don't get it. Listen, I don't get it. I mean, I know some people just hate Madden, they hate EA. Fine. We're just in 2 different parts of the world. I'm sorry. I told y'all this a while back. I don't have the energy to be that guy. And even if I was that guy, you have to acknowledge when you be like, "Whoa, wait a minute, this looks a little different." Franchise mode has gotten more things than any other part of the game. And especially with the scouting, like that, Smitty, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think the scouting was gonna have that level of depth. I mean, sitting there listening to Swami talk, I'm like, bro. Look, man, I'm gonna just make it short and sweet. This could be the start of getting back to what we all remember when the game had that depth and it had that strategical element, what we all grew up loving. Like, you know, even like my man Nick said, and shouts out to him, man, as he was commentating the video when he was saying, I mean, he was moderating when he said, you know, this is what I fell in love with. Even Swami said he started playing at 7. Like, there was no ultimate team and all of that.
Right.
Madden was built on franchise.
Yep.
And to see them, I love what they're doing with the game plan and stuff. The introduction of progressive fatigue and health, even though they need to take it to the next level now. Let's get the body parts, you know, because y'all had that in head coach. 2K has it now, so you definitely got to get that. The introduction or reintroduction of coordinators. Now I would like to see more staff. And actually, we do have a little more staff because now you're going to have 4 scouts as well. All of that stuff and what they're doing with scouting. And let me not forget this, introducing, partly playing with the notion of kind of getting away from 2-man animation in certain aspects.
Yeah,
it's like it's taking steps, you know, and that's all we can ask for at this point. That's it. I mean, again, you might not agree with it the way I look at it, but that's how I see it. It's not. Smitty's favorite phrase is, "It can't happen in one fell swoop." It can't. So all I need to see is that each year you're pushing towards it. And I'm sorry, Madden 22 is doing it. We still have to see, you know, it's TBD. We'll see how it comes out and how everything works and all of that. But at least on the surface, the idea of what they're doing, you ain't gonna sit there and tell me that it's the same old thing. They're not doing anything. Nah, I'm not on that. I'm sorry. And again, understanding everything ain't gonna be done. Everything ain't gonna, it can't be done. All of the stuff, it can't be. Oh, and the last part I wanted to talk about. Deuce Douglas is on the staff, folks. The man we love. Deuce, and this is the funny thing. I have known about this possibility for, let me do the math here, probably about 2 years. I knew the interest was there. And actually, when I had a chance to meet Deuce in person, we were actually at a franchise. Y'all didn't know that. We were at a franchise event in Austin the last time I think I went 2 years ago, I think. I want to say it was for Madden. Was it 19? Might have been 19. One of those. Met Deuce, met Nick, you know, and if Nick sees this, you remember that steak? Like, it's a running joke with this steak place, and we was like, boy, that steak was pretty good. But anyway, and I knew then that the idea was kind of there. Like, you know, if it worked out for him or if it worked out for them, and at the time he was like, I don't know if I want to uproot. I already knew it was coming, but I didn't know that it had happened. And I had hit him up before the announcement. It was like, hey, man, how's everything going? Da, 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 da. And he hit me with the, oh, by the way, I'm on staff. And I was like, word? He said, you know, it'll be revealed soon. So that's why I didn't say nothing. I mean, I knew like a tad bit before it was revealed, like a couple of days or something. Mm-hmm. But Deuce Douglas, Swami, did y'all sit up there and y'all watch that reveal and how passionate this dude was talking about? And I'm really happy for Swami. I am, man, because Smitty knows we used to call him Swamalytics, because this dude would, in case you guys don't know, Swami knows his players. Like, this dude, since we probably met him when he was like 19. Yeah. And he was he was his passion was to become like a scout. So he knows.
Oh yeah.
So that's why we started calling them Swamalytics, right? But to see a guy like that was that passionate and being in the franchise community the way he was, to now being hired by EA, to now being responsible for one of the bigger features, like it's kind of his baby, even though I know others worked on it. It was cool to see him up there, like, he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like he started off just like us and he took a job there, and now he actually is a big part of a feature that he had been clamoring for years, about how bad scouting was in the game. I mean, you should hear him when we was down there. This is just not right. This would never contracts and scouting. So y'all better believe whenever he gets a chance, the next thing is going to be contracts, front loading, but all of that is coming if he gets the opportunity to do that.
I want to say this. This is the main thing I said. If Deuce got hired, y'all gotta let these cats cook. I'm telling you.
Yep,
that's the thing. EA Sports is not about if it's in the game, it's in the game. No. EA Sports, let these devs cook. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Let them cook, man.
If you don't let these cats cook, it don't matter if Deuce is hired or not. What?
Yep.
You heard me saying here. I remember. I was on the. Well, no, I ain't say it on the. When we were interacting with. Well, yeah, I did say it. I said it with what's his face? When we was talking to Kralo, I mean, that's okay to say now. When it was like Madden 19, I think it was, and they were talking like I basically said like nothing was done with franchise, and this is when Swami was hired there and everything. I was like, dude, they didn't do anything with franchise. And they're like, oh well, we did some refining to contracts and everything. I'm like, bro, like nothing was done. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want. You can come with the technicals and say, well, technically, because we did A, B, and C, we did do something. But that's my point.
They used to throw that at us all the time.
Throw that technicality stuff and I'm like, I don't give a care about the technicality. You ain't do anything. So
look, I got one for you real quick. Because before I forget, and it's just an inside joke for us. Don't you wish we was in that Discord now?
Oh,
when they used to certain people used to always say, "Oh man, well we can't." Or those old. Okay, now what?
Oh man, are you serious?
Now, like y'all listen to us now. All of a sudden,
yeah.
But we was crazy though,
right? So saying,
like, yeah, you're too involved with the game, and
what
are you talking about?
Like, what?
We just want you to do what you once did. Yeah, now, we're not talking about devs, guys. We're not. It ain't the devs. We're just talking about other folks that said people like me and Smitty were in shop and guys like that. We're too, it's a new era. No.
No, I ain't missing that new era garbage.
Now look what y'all doing.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
see,
no,
that's funny.
Yeah, so but
I mean, they used to argue with Smitty, man. I'm telling you, sometimes I used to just watch it like, look at these guys.
Yeah, dudes would come into me like, you sure you still want to do this? I'm like, you coming at me saying I want to go because I'm telling y'all the truth. Like, I literally was saying like, these are again just sidebar on a thing here, but I mean, I messaged cats saying like busting out the copies of Madden. Like I was up here holding up like NCAA and all that. I'm like, dude, y'all got these games literally plastered on your wall, and y'all celebrate these joints. And all I'm saying is, y'all need to be doing this or better than this at this point. Well, the times have changed and all that. No. This is what got you there. This is what keeps you there. So you can't ever be like the times have changed and we ain't doing. No. You don't see NBA 2K doing that, even if their mode is stagnant to a degree. You still don't see that. They have retarded amounts of death in their franchise mode. They got the best franchise mode out here. So it ain't look. Giannis, the Bucks won the NBA championship. How did they win the team? How did they win the team? How did they win the chip? Did they win because they super teamed? No, they won with a traditional team. That's just like when the Pistons won it in 04. It's the same principle. Everybody named mama. Oh, you got to be able to run and gun, or you got to have two superstars at this point in time. If you ain't got a superstar tandem or trio, you're not winning. We ain't have any of that, and we won. So it's like it you don't have to follow the following because somebody throws a stat quo. That doesn't mean that you have to go that way to be successful. You can get the success if you just build the thing the right way. Period. So, but that goes back to my point, going back to this. You got to let the devs cook. How come Swami wasn't talking like that with Madden 19? Because they ain't let them work.
And he's been talking about that.
Yeah, and he said that way before being an employee. So if you let these people cook and let them do their jobs based off of you brought them in from the community, let them do what they did that got them in front of your face. If you let Deuce Douglas do his job and work accordingly, sweet. You know what I'm saying? Then now you got something that can take off. That's just like the community guys with 2K. Like, look at NBA 2K. You have all-time rosters that don't even have, well, even if they don't have all the players, the ratings are jacked up. You got current roster players that have ratings that are messed up. And you hired a community guy that was on Operation Sports that his reputation was garnered off of doing these rosters accurately. People love downloading his rosters on 360 and all that. And this is the dude you bring in, and you're not letting him fully do his job right. So he ends up looking bad, and in turn the product looks bad. See, that's what I'm saying. If you let these people do their jobs and you let these people develop the game, and Sim and I have been saying this point, I don't know how long. If you let these guys work and you give them the budget and y'all be like, all right, this is y'all budget and this is what y'all can do with it. If you let them do the work accordingly, the game can be great. Will there be mistakes along the way? Yes. Will there be certain features that may not work as well with other stuff? Yeah, all those things are going to happen. But overall, the product will be amazing. You will have a phenomenal game to play with adequate depth, modes, features, all that good stuff. And these devs can do like they did this year and speak to it with confidence. Now, it still is, like Sim said, it's TBD. The gameplay stuff, TBD. Yeah, scouting is TBD. Heck, even Battlefield with all this stuff is TBD.
Hey, watch your mouth, Smitty.
Hey, no, I'm telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because
talk about my Battlefield.
Hey, I'm telling the truth. No. Remember. Yeah. Battlefield 4, they had to completely derail their whole roadmap of stuff because their online stuff was jacked up. Yeah. So if they online, and that's what I'm saying. If it's on point, awesome stuff. I love it. I'm happy for these guys. I'm happy for Swami for finally being able to do the work, and he was able to speak to it confidently and everything else. Love it. Absolutely love it. And that's why I want to see the exact same thing happening with these other sports games, but I want to see this stuff happening with Madden every year. That's why I said I want to see the same energy, core gameplay, all of that. And like Sim brought up, I meant to say it earlier, the Hypermotion tech, especially seeing they're trying to do that separation with the wideout and DB play, that will set it off. What did they call it? I pulled it up here on the FIFA thing. They called it kinetic. What is it called? Kinetic air battles is what they call it in FIFA 22.
Wow.
So I want to see, and they talk about it with the Hypermotion tech along with the animations that they captured. So I want to see how they would be able to make that kind of thing happen and take it even further with Madden, with wideout DB play. So So I'm saying, like, it's a lot of good stuff to unpack, man. But this is how you go on that road. And the key thing they said too, Sim, like what Sim was saying as well. If you listen to the podcast or any of that stuff that they did, all these things they're doing are setting themselves up to do even greater things down the road. So everything's not going to be in here, like Sim said. But and even these guys have said they're saying it. That's the coolest part. They're saying it. And this is the kind of stuff that I've said up here before. I would give Ramon Russell mad credit because we will watch their streams when they talk about the next upcoming game, and they'll talk about future stuff as a hint. You know what I'm saying? Oh, base running? Yeah, we have some stuff, but that's something we're working on for next year to expand on. Oh, dang, how come we can't get that in Madden? Here they are saying it. Oh, we're doing this, we got some plans and stuff, some things we're going to do down the line and everything, but this is a good foundation that really helps open the door.
They talked about free agency briefly. It was like, we think maybe there's some stuff to do in that space. See,
that's it.
Let's go after that next.
Yeah, that's it. See, so as long as you let these brothers work, these men and women work, and actually let them be creative and give them that freedom to do it. And hey, they may be setting up Madden at some point, maybe next year or the year after that, to become a free-to-play game. So it's like, let's get all these systems flushed out and let's get them all together, and then we'll make it free-to-play. You want to buy the scout? It's going to have the scouting. Like, what if Madden did that? We got the scouting portion the way it is right now. You want the upgraded one? Sure, pay this, and you get that system.
Yeah, they might get me.
Okay. And look, I'm okay with that. See, that's okay what I'm saying. I'm okay with it if there's value with it. I don't mind doing it. That's the whole thing. As long as there's value, don't make it some kind of placebo thing that's like whatever. No, then that's a problem. But if there's value to it to be had, let's do that. Let's do that. We're gonna definitely do that. Like, yeah. So that's what I'm just saying. Do that kind of thing, and I'm okay with it. But that's the kind of push they could be making, because like we've made the points here in the past, look at games like Fortnite and look at how much money they generate on a free-to-play basis. Are they holding everything back? No, they're letting it all out. And that's why their game has elevated to where it's elevated to. And it's like, you see all that money being made. You want Apex Legends to be in that stratosphere. You definitely want to see sports games get there. So it's like, yeah, you would want Madden to come up like that. But you got to give people that full course meal too. You can't skip out on it and then just expect people to say, "Oh, well, I'll go with it anyway." That's not that. You can't do that on the free to play tip, because they'll drop your stuff fast. So,
yeah, man, it's a lot coming. Especially if you read all of the blogs and go back and listen to the scouting thing again, man, because it's still stuff I need to go back and listen to, because it's much deeper than I thought. I wanted to tack 2 comments really quick, man. Then I'll get into something else that I loved about what I heard in the blog. But I highlighted Ryan's comment here, and actually I agree with this. And then I'm going to do a future, how I feel about a future Madden, right? He says he always finds it funny when dudes say NBA 2K franchise is the same every year. When you have that much depth, it's hard to add anything new. That's actually a fact, because it gets to a point where what else do you add? And I'm not saying there's not stuff to do, but I wouldn't mind Madden getting to the point where it's quote unquote a roster update, meaning it got everything. And all we doing every year is just playing a new, you know what I'm saying? Like if Madden had all of the franchise features that are in 2K, we'd be saying the same thing. Like, dang, what else can they squeeze in there? And that's what you want. Because eventually it ain't, what else do you add? So it is funny sometimes when people say that about 2K, because honestly, again, I'm not a basketball guy like that, but I'm like, well, what's missing? I don't know as far as what's missing as far as the basics that make that a robust franchise basketball experience. I don't know what's missing. I don't know.
They got too much stuff in there. Like, I mean, you can literally have veterans mentor your rookies in there. Like, what
else, man?
What else do you need to do?
Morale,
you got
effects, chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, you have team practices. You can focus what you want particular players on your team to work on for the course of the season and adjust the sliders on them according. Like,
wear and tear. I mean, what else?
What do you want?
What else do they do?
Like, what do you want them to, other than functionality issues, which I get that,
right?
But what else are they supposed to actually add that's not already there? Like, there's too much that's there for you to be. Man, that ain't enough. Well, what else are they supposed to? See, that's just when you're spoiled at that point. Because there's no way you could be like, oh man, but look what they did with with my team. Like, it ain't the same. So, like, they're not in the same bonus franchise mode would be on my league. So no, man. And yet again, and I already know this year they're gonna do something else brand spanking new that's gonna blow the cover off again in terms of adding even more depth.
Yeah.
So,
and shout outs, man, to King Arthur again for another donation. He actually had another comment that I was going to reference. He was talking about blocking, so I will talk about that first and then get to this one. He says a lot of people say, what's going on with lead blocking in Madden. And I'll explain to you guys kind of how it works. And it's going to be up to them how they fix it in terms of rewriting or reprogramming, because I know they did talk about doing some improved things in blocking, and it seems like it's improved, but specifically let me show that comment as well. Specifically what King Arthur is talking about, you hear me talk about a lot. And I did see it from time to time in the beta where a guy seems to just not acknowledge the dude who crosses his face. Well, here's the reason why. One of the main reasons why is the way blocking works in the game, and we learned this a few years back. It's kind of predictive, right? It's predictive off of the ball carrier. So you ever notice when you move a certain way, your blocker would turn? Is because the way they have the targeting system, they're trying to predict where you're going, and then the blocking interaction will play out accordingly. And I know now they're talking about you won't see so much suction, and if a guy's going right, they'll continue to go right. And definitely saw that in the beta. It's not like that whole here he comes and then they zip together. It looks more natural, but that's what the lead blocker is doing. Because you've heard me say this for years. Why is this? And I've said this to Clint in person, like, Clint, you know how it works. You played football, obviously. You played in the NFL. Like, you have an assignment, but you never let anybody cross your face. So I think what's going to have to happen in order for that to be fixed, they're going to have to redo the AI completely in terms of how their blocking works, the targeting system. Did they do some of that? Have they tinkered with it? I don't know. I'm just saying, based on how we know it worked, me and Smitty was told this while we were at EA some years ago. That's why those scenarios happen sometimes, is because they're kind of trying to predict where you're going, and I guess the system gets confused sometimes if this guy comes through and they look, you know what I mean? So it does make a bit of an eyesore, but that's why it happens. In terms of this comment, this would be kind of cool. He says, what do you think about juggles triggering for guys with low catch ratings, like a juggle animation, and you have to quickly press the button to secure the ball? That would be kind of cool. I'll explain to you why I think it's cool, because you hear some people, maybe not so much sim guys, but you hear some people say they don't want random things happening. Whereas us guys who are more sim-minded, we say, well, these things do happen in the NFL. People drop balls, people drop interceptions, et cetera, et cetera. It would be kind of cool if there was a mechanic that allowed you to control that. So if your guy's juggling, you know, you have the ability to try to help him catch it. My only fear with that is, does it become cheesy? Or, you know what I mean? Can you spam it to where you never drop a ball? Or maybe this is how they fix it. Now, see, I'm going all way off pace here, but maybe, you know, still physics and all of that will play a factor. So regardless of what I'm trying to do to secure it, if it's bobbling, somebody comes in, ball still can go fly. So maybe they mix that in where physics still will override whatever I'm doing with the button press to still make it cool. Or maybe with the even pressing the button fast or whatever, there's still a level, some wiggle room in there where you could still drop it. You know, so I don't know. I think the idea is cool, but I would like to know how it would be implemented to where it feels natural and you could still have some drops, you know, to where you don't always just recover it. Because then let's say if you always recovered it and you don't never have a drop, then what's the point of having, you know what I mean? Now it's kind of like a cheat code. So, but I like the idea though. Real quick, man, because I mean, again, I knew we wouldn't be able to get to everything tonight. There's so much stuff that we still ain't talking about in terms of franchise and scouting. But one thing I wanted to discuss and get your thoughts on this, Smitty, was when Swami was saying how I love the fact that you have these scouts, you have your 4 scouts, and you have a national scout. You can send your national scout to a game or whatever. And for the record, I don't think any of this stuff is playable, because I know that was a question when they talked about private workouts and all that, when we kind of got a hint about that some weeks ago. I don't think it's playable. I think it's more text-based, where you could say, do you want to invite this guy to this? Do you want to go to the pro day? I think it's more like that, which is cool for now. You know, maybe down the road, they could actually have a mini game of sorts. But for now, as long as it's in there and it actually has some effect on the information, because the main, 2 points I want to make. One point they made was the fact that you're trying to complete a completion report, getting as much information as possible on a player, and certain things will determine how much you get. Like, you know, Swami was saying, the aggregation of information will be key. But then the national scout, if you send him somewhere, it will draw media attention. Yeah. So you can't even be sneaky. So like if me and Smitty, like both, let's say, you know, let's say golf stinks it up, right? So come next year, me and you both in the franchise, you would think maybe Ben is retiring, or I just want to start fresh, and you might be looking for a quarterback. I can't even hide it from Smitty. If I send my national scout there, then Smitty gonna know reading, because remember they said, and this was not even just on, you know, a couple of days ago, but remember what they said a few weeks or so ago is you're going to have to pay attention to the news feed. But everybody will be able to know, oh, Pittsburgh, they looking at so-and-so. Let's say Sam Howell from UNC. That's one of the quarterbacks that I like right now. That'll come out next year. Oh, they looking at their UNC. You see, and now you got
you make it all matter.
Strategy, man. I gotta try to throw Smitty off the scent. You know, like maybe I'm attending. You know, I'm at. He's looking at safeties. Like, no. I got my eyes on. And then you got to determine, you know, where you pick. Can you still like kind of hide? And maybe I don't have to get as much information on this dude because he's projected to go. You know, I like that. How now it's more like a range. He's projected to go anywhere from 1 to 12. I don't really need to get so much info on him because I know he's the man. I just need to lay low since I'm picking at 9. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to send. I won't send the national scout there. So that's the kind of stuff, man, that we have talked about. How you got to have that off-field emergent. And again, let's not get it twisted. It's not like everything is there, but you have to acknowledge the layers that are being built. And now we can look towards the future. Finally, now we can say, oh, man, if they keep going at this pace, because honestly, they have almost put themselves in a corner now. Now it ain't no excuse. It used to be
Yeah.
a time when I was like, man, I don't know if they could do all that in a cycle. This year, bruh, let's just assume you stay at the same pace for 23 and you get what 3 or 4, however many main features coming, and you do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't gonna take as long as we think. But it's up to us to keep the foot on their neck, though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. Like I said, man, you know, some people will listen to this and take it however they want to take it. I really don't care, man. I've told you guys that for years now. I do not care how anyone else feels about how I feel about a video game. With me and Smitty, it's not about throwing stones at the company. I don't care. I want the best product that I can get. I don't care who makes it. So even though EA has dragged their feet for years, if they're finally now we got their attention and now they starting to give us some stuff, I'm gonna take it. Why wouldn't I? Why would I just sit in the corner like, well, they still didn't? Like, all right, I mean, you want to take it that serious? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm a gamer. I love football. If a modern day football game is finally gonna somewhat deliver with some things that we've been waiting on, I'm gonna give it a chance, and then we will judge it accordingly. If this stuff don't work out and is implemented poorly or what have you, you better believe the title of that show will be Madden 22 oversells, underwhelms. So
yeah,
that's just where I'm at with it, man. So
yeah,
it's intriguing. It is very interesting, man, just to see that they actually stuck to their word, so to speak. And they keep putting their own, and I'm saying this in a good way. They keep putting their own foot in their mouth, their own neck on the line, like by saying this is not so. All right, keep doing that. Keep doing that, because obviously, y'all, something changed for 22. So we shall see.
Yeah.
Cheerleaders and mascots. I don't know. I mean, again, it's one of those things. And I think most of you guys understand. It comes down to priority, man. Like even with the, let's say, the suits being a little more open to allowing those guys to work. Now you're talking about what's priority for the dev. So that's a different thing.
Yeah.
This conversation we haven't had often, but let's say now they got the attention of the suits and they're like, all right, we're gonna let y'all do more. Now the devs will look at their big board and say, all right, they gave us this amount to do all of these things. Which one of these things, these X a number of things, are priority? I'm gonna be honest with you. Cheerleaders, mascots, maybe even refs on the field are probably not as high, even in the devs' eyes. Even though I know we all want the full experience. 2K got everything, right? Halftime show, and the mascot do this at you. I mean, they got it all. I get it. I love all that too, because to me, simulation is how it looks and how it plays.
Right.
But when you fighting from behind like Madden is, trying to catch back up, those things are the sprinkles.
Yeah.
So keep making, keep working on that cake and get that cake perfect, right, and then throw everything else on it. You know what I mean? Now I will say this real quick, then I'll throw it to Smitty, man, and we probably about done for the night. We'll see, but I'll give you a sprinkle thing that I still want to see, which it might be a sprinkle, it might be important. I still want to see more degradation, man. I still don't feel like it's enough to me, and I forget sometimes, because a lot of times we all had been at EA together, and then there were times when it was just me and Smitty, and then there was times when it was Azure and me, and so I can't remember if I know Smitty has been there with me at least a time when I've said this. But you remember, Smitty, one of them games, man, when we were down there early, that joint, the field was getting tore up, jerseys like super dirty, and they turned it back. by the time the game came out, and I remember, saying to Rex and them, like, yo, what happened to, and it has not returned. And now with next gen, I know, you get some more marks and stuff on the helmet, but, and, you see the rain, but still, it needs to be even worse than that. And again, that might not be important to some people, but that's the visual aesthetic. Like, I want to see a field get toned down. That's known to be a bad field, especially now since they got this gameplay momentum and these M factors and home field. Some of them is like a turf thing that for you guys who didn't play the beta, there's a game day factor at certain fields where the turf, because the field is known to have certain turf, it might be more chances of injury, or players are slower or faster. See, that kind of plays along with now me saying, well, what about the fields that we know that ain't good? You get those huge divots. Like, I want to see that stuff. And I want to see the jerseys get filthy. I want to see jerseys being able to get torn. Stuff like that. That's just one of my things, man. I would love to see that, since they kept talking about how the weather on next gen for 21 was going to be, is more stuff, but y'all still ain't doing enough for me. And of course, we talk about jerseys, still got to get them jersey pulls at some point. Because I think that takes it to another level too, with a whole lot of different things. But so yeah, I'm there with you guys, man. I'm as much as a visual presentation guy as I am a gameplay guy, because I think it all goes hand in hand when you're talking about not just simulation, but replicating a sport. So that's just one of my things right there. But what else you want to hit on tonight, Smitty, man, before we shut her down? We'll probably tackle some more of this next time too.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's more. There's a whole lot more to talk about, because we really didn't dive into like franchise mode super duper deep. So there's more we'll definitely carry it on. I'm trying to think exactly, from what you were saying there. Oh, I think that was Madden. I want to say that was Madden 16. Because that was when you, me, and Azure were last there together.
One of them, and that thing. Remember, them players was by like the third quarter, that field was filthy, muddy as I don't know what. The bodies was, because even I remember they even told us, like, yeah, right now the degradation is like overkill, and they cut it back. And it was one of them games.
It was either 15 or 16.
Yeah, man.
Because we were playing, because I remember us talking about that, like, and we were loving it.
Loved it.
Yo, like, this is perfect.
It was immersive, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It was 15 to 16 for sure. It was one of those two. And then they took it, they gutted. They not gutted out, but they basically dialed back to what we were accustomed to seeing.
He did this. Look, I'll show y'all with the mic. He dialed it on back. I used to tell Rex and Clint, man, if y'all don't, man, I'm sick of them dials, man.
Yeah.
But I know it's a game, and I know, but the idea of the fact that you can govern stuff, again, most games probably do it, because let's be honest, I don't know if there's a game alive not alive, but y'all know what I'm saying. I don't know if there is a game that literally is purely organic, like purely, meaning the shot is, depending on how your finger hit, it just
right.
There is some checks and balances with the rate, because even with ratings, there's dialing going on to keep that. And you hear Clint talk about it all the time. Well, if we look at the averages of what's happening in the NFL, I get it. It's just knowing that it makes it tough to create an organic on field or on court or on ice experience when you know that there's just sometimes that this can't work, because you know what I mean. So I jokingly say get rid of the dials, but I just hate that theory that that's how games have to be governed. But I mean, until some technology comes along, well, kind of the Hypermotion, not so much that, but it is kind of getting away from certain things.
Yeah,
but we'll see, man. As technology, continues to grow, Maybe one day that's a non-factor. But we shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. So I don't know. Oh, one thing that I will say though, and this lends to the whatchamacallit, like you were just talking about the scouting stuff. The news. Like how you got the news in Madden and see how they make that count. See, you have the same thing in NBA 2K or something similar, because what I was using was, now once again, it depends upon how you scout. Because I was playing with my season in 2K, playing with the Pistons. We had the worst record in the league, but we still came away with the 5th pick. And I was still able to draft Cade. You know what I'm saying? Which was crazy. He fell down there. But the point that I'm getting at is that, see, I had my scouts automatically set up. So, and my prospect list was mainly top guys, top picks. So guys that potentially were going to go in the first round, just like highly valued. And I had those guys thoroughly scouted. Now, when it came to other players that were not scouted as much, and that's the other thing too. I love that about 2K. You can scout talent that more than likely will be available around the pick. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you have a team that's not as good. More than likely, you're going to be in that top 15. Okay, bet. You can have your scout evaluate those guys. But then you also have another pick that's the second rounder. Okay, if you're not going to be that good of a record, more than likely you're going to be picking within that top 10 in that first round. So what players, talent-wise, potentially off of scouting reports and everything, are going to be the intended targets? And then, but you can either put them on the list yourself, or you can set it automatically for your scout to evaluate talent that way. Now, I'm saying that to get this. When I was playing, just like Sim brought up the stuff about, you got to look at the news stuff because it actually plays a part, potentially. When things got deep in the draft for me, and I had the guys that I did scout were picked, basically. So I had a bunch of guys that I did not really scout at all. And what became interesting was I went to their social media pages. So even though those players have their little social media players, whoever's following them, and they're talking about so-and-so had a great game. Like, you could look at the history that year or whatever, that season. So if I'm looking to draft them and I'm seeing so-and-so put up good numbers in this, that, and the third, and the scouts are saying he's poor at playing defense, and if somebody doesn't draft this guy, this is the reason why they're going to knock against them, because of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to see how you can have a newsreel, a social media feed, or anything like that, have that added in, and it actually does have an impactful role at some point. Excuse me. It's not necessarily, a huge thing, but it still is an element that does add value.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
in terms of scouting. Yeah, right. Like, you can look at somebody and be like, dang, I ain't scout this cat, but look at his social media presence. Oh, dang, they marveling over him like that. Dang, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick this guy. And then let's see what happens. That's it. You know what I mean? But you give those mechanics that do help and go in line and make a lot more sense, especially when you're looking at a draft or even a free agency kind of deal. So that's what, I just wanted to just say that, because I'm like, that just was mind blowing. And that's the whole point. Seeing that kind of stuff happen. If you're seeing that kind of stuff happening with a game like 2K, and then you start seeing that stuff happen with Madden, that's when things are going to get really interesting.
Yeah, man.
So, but no, that's all I got, man. I ain't got nothing else.
I will say, man, like my man DSK said a little earlier, he says he's pessimistically optimistic. Oh man, I feel you because we've been beat over the head so many years with Madden, man, that finally they're doing something. You kind of scared, like, okay, let's see. It does seem like from everything we've seen and heard, even a little experiences with the beta, it seems like it's legit, But again, they've earned us being pessimistic. They've earned that. So now they have to stay on the trend of earning us being optimistic. So again, I'll just finish with this, man. I think what they're adding overall to the game is good. It's a great start. I know people hate to hear that word, but it's the truth. How many years have we said they haven't done nothing? So there has to be a start. I think this is showing what they're capable of. And like I said, they're putting themselves in their own corner. Because now you're really showing us what can be done in a cycle, a shortened cycle. Cycle was shortened. I know that for a fact. Even if you guys don't believe that, next gen Madden came out in December. And I know just from talking to devs, this is a shortened cycle for 22. It's not a full cycle, even though some of the news outlets said that. No, not necessarily. But still, seeing that what they did in this cycle, okay. So now you're really showing me suits that what we've been saying all this time is true. Y'all is just playing with us. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, man, I think we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. Like I said, I've been away, visiting family and stuff. I've been away for roughly 2 hours, so I need to go join the family again, man. But great show. It was great to be back. Just to make this announcement again, more than likely, like I said earlier, that we're heading back home. We're leaving next Thursday night, so it's probably likely that we won't do a show, but maybe a small maybe I could just tune in. We could do it with no camera, and because you can do StreamYard on your phone, so maybe that happens. But let's just lean more towards saying probably won't be another one next week because I'll be traveling, but we'll definitely return the following week. And by that time, I mean, who knows what we got to talk about. I did see something today about people who are with EA Play being able to play the game on the 12th of August. So, I mean, that ain't that far.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, they're still making last gen. And I will end with that. I know some people, not necessarily you, Philly, but some people in the community I keep seeing are saying, it's messed up that the next gen and the current gen don't have this, and why this happens every time a new console comes out. Like, this shouldn't be a surprise. Like, you're right, it may not be fair, but that's part of that is hardware, and part of that, let's be honest, is a money play.
Yeah.
Come on, it's business, and it has happened since most of us can remember. From going to this console to that console, it's always the big bad. The big boy now can do this, and that's just how it goes. So I wouldn't act so surprised, like you're caught off guard with that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, guys, we are gone. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. Please be safe, man. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but the COVID is picking up again, man. Ironically, where I am right now in Florida, they're saying is the worst state currently. Their numbers have doubled, like 100 and something percent. It's crazy, but be happy to get away from it. But yeah, just try your best, guys, to be safe, man. God bless. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we promise we'll be back to you guys more than likely, probably not next week, but the following week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun tonight. So catch you guys later. Have a good weekend. Peace.